Okay, 7th graders, we are doing section 310, dividing fractions and mixed numbers. So dividing fractions is very similar to multiplying fractions. You just have to remember one little thing, and that is a little saying, and it's skip, flip, and multiply. So what you're going to do is you're going to take all of these and you are going to skip, flip, and multiply them. And so basically every problem that we're going to do, we're going to change it into a multiplication problem. So there are 3 different types. There are ones with a whole number times divided by a fraction, fraction divided by a fraction, and then mixed number divided by a mixed number. Okay, so basically in order to divide numbers or divide fractions, there's a couple of rules, and the first thing is that each number needs, to be in fraction form. So not a whole number or mixed number. So if they're not in this form, that's one of the first things you have to do. And then the other little thing to remember is that you do not need common denominators. So that's kind of a nice thing. You don't need common denominators. Okay, so if you have a whole number, the way you change it to a fraction is you just put it under 1. So I can take these numbers and just put them over 1, because 5 divided by 1 is still 5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to skip the first number. So you leave it just like it is. You flip the second, so it becomes 2 over 1, and then you multiply. When you multiply fractions, you multiply the numbers across the top. So 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 1 is 1. And then simplify. So 10 divided by 1 is 10. Okay. So then our next one, you skip the first one, flip the second, and multiply. 9 times 3 is 27. 1 times 1 is 1. 27 divided by 1 is 27. These will just happen to come out as nice whole numbers. The next one, 6 divided by 1 stays, so 6 first stays, skip, flip the second one, and multiply. So 6 times 4 is 24. 24 over 1 equals 24. Now, these all came out as nice numbers because this is 1/2, 1/3, and 1/4. If they were 2/3 or 3/4, they would not come out nice, just to warn you. Okay, so dividing fractions, same rules. You skip the first one, flip the second, and then multiply. Now, I don't know if you guys remember cross-simplifying from earlier, but cross-simplifying is really nice. If they share a factor, so for example, 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 9 3 times, 5 goes into 5 one time, 5 goes into 5 one time. So if you look across from each other and they can share a factor, you want to simplify, because then you just have 3 times 1, which is 3, and 1 times 1, which is 1. And what this does is this helps us not have to reduce later. Okay, the next one, you skip the first term, flip the second term, and then I already wrote my multiplication symbol in there. Check to see if you can cross simplify. 7 goes into 7 one time, 7 goes into 7 one time. 3 goes into 3 one time, but 3 goes into 6 twice. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. So this one just, you're getting all sorts of nice numbers here. Okay, same thing. Skip, flip, and multiply. I am going to make sure that I keep that negative there so I don't forget about it. 6 goes into 6 one time, 6 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5, and it's a positive times a negative, so my answer is a negative 1/5. Okay, now going on to the mixed numbers. So I said in the very beginning that each number needs to be in a fraction form, not a whole number or a mixed number. You cannot multiply if they are in mixed number form, or divide, sorry, if they're in mixed number form. So you have to change them to an improper fraction first. So to do that, we take 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 1 is 5. And I rewrite the original problem. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So I rewrote the problem. Then I am going to skip, flip, and multiply. Then I'm going to cross simplify if I can. So 5 and 7 cannot be cross simplified, but 2 can go into 2 one time and 2 can go into 2 once. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 7 is 7. 5 sevens cannot be reduced. Well, that's your answer. So again, I rewrite it. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Divided by 3 plus 1 is 4. Then I skip, flip, and I multiply. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice. 7 times 1 is 7, 2 times 4 is 8. So your answer is 7/8. Number 9, why don't you guys pause me and try this one on your own and check it with my answer. Go ahead and pause it. Okay, so if you have completed this, this is what you should get. We take our first number, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Then I rewrite it, skip, flip, and multiply. My 5s can be canceled. So 5 goes into 5 one time, 5 goes into 5 one time. This gives you -6/11. And that's your answer. Last one, remember if the word problem is giving you trouble because there's fractions, think of it as with nice numbers. So a jug holds 12 pints of juice. How many 1/2 pint bottles can be filled with that much juice? So let's pretend they're nice numbers. So if a jug holds 12 pints, how many 2 pint bottles can they fill? So you just take 12 divided by 2. So let's take our number, 12 divided by 1 1/2. Okay, so the first thing is I write them both like fractions. So this is just going to be 12 over 1 divided by 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Then I skip, flip, and multiply. I like to cross simplify if I can. So 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1. So you would get 8 bottles is how many they could fill with that much juice.